When implementing IFRS 9, one of the most complex aspects of the standard is the forward-looking impact. Banks have to basically include forward-looking aspects into their probability of default modeling, loss given default modeling, exposure default modeling, and then also the macroeconomic forecasts have to go into that forward-looking view of things. Not only on the modeling side, but also on the reporting side, banks need to be forward-looking, because banks need to be able to report last month's numbers and this month's number, compare it and say where the variances are coming from in their reports. And that's what makes this very complex for banks to implement. That's what gives them quite a few headaches, because you want, as an end user, to be able to refine, to adjust, to fine-tune, to optimize these models and the impacts of these. For instance, once you have an early version of your model ready, you want to test that with different impacts, different inputs, different simulations, different scenarios. But also once you're live and you have gone live with your system, and then you want to still update your models, update your macroeconomic forecasts, because it's basically an ongoing exercise over and over again. You might have an early version of your model ready, you fine-tune, you adjust, and then you go live when the first reporting to the regulator. But then, of course, macroeconomic circumstances change completely over time. And then you want to say, well, if I change my GDP expectation or my unemployment expectation to a certain level, what will be the impact on my number? You do not just want to apply those macroeconomic changes and go with the numbers immediately in the report to the regulator. No, you want to know the impacts. And as a user, you want those impacts to be shown to you very fast. You do not want to wait for the system to endlessly calculate all those numbers. No, you want to see, okay, if I change that parameter, this will be the impact. If I change another parameter, another variable, that will be the impact. So systems have to be fast, have to be immediate, responsive, etc. Generally, there are two different types of financial institutions that implement IFRS 9. There is the banks that are just trying to abide by the standard but not doing much more, and trying to get the numbers out to the regulator as fast as possible without doing a lot of fine-tuning and so on. Then there's the type of financial institutions that use the IFRS 9 application as a strategic tool also. A strategic tool to do better forecasting, to see different simulations, different scenarios, different stress tests, and see what the impact is on the bank's result. So of course those banks are eventually going to take benefit of that approach, because they will be able to optimize their expected credit loss numbers. They'll be able to basically report to macroeconomic impacts a lot faster. If management within that financial institution calls them up and asks to run a certain macroeconomic stress test like Brexit or a new upcoming presidential election, these type of banks will be able to just have these numbers on the fly. And if we look at history, back in the days, not a single system could do that. The bottom-up stress testing on high volumes and so. So now with the latest technologies, banks can do bottom-up stress testing very fast on extremely high number of volumes in an instant. So this is a game changer. Technology enables users to play around with the system, to run multiple simulations, multiple scenarios, and banks investing in those type of platforms, they will eventually have a new strategic tool to manage their business.